Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to what I think is going to be one of the most important conversations in this room today. Luxury marketing has always been built on emotion, desire, storytelling, and exclusivity, but today it's also about proving impact. Every marketing channel is being asked to prove its value, and with that, marketers are no longer choosing between brand and performance. They're expected to deliver both. So the question we're discovering today isn't whether affiliate marketing can drive sales. We know it can. The real question is, how can we drive performance without compromising what makes luxury luxury? I'm Tatna, Associate Director of DealMoon for the Fashion Department, part of the Moon Commerce Group, and today we'll be discussing exactly that. Moon Commerce Group isn't your typical affiliate player. We operate across the full funnel, connecting a highly engaged audience of Chinese expats globally with leading brands. We have an incredible group of panelists with us today, each bringing a unique perspective to the discussion. And if we have time at the end, you could each submit your questions to the panel via the SwapCard app. With that, I'd love to start by asking each of you to briefly introduce yourselves. Over to you, Holly.
Hi guys, lovely to see you all, and thanks for having me, Sapna and Partnerize. So I'm Holly. I'm the Senior Affiliates and Partnership Manager for Dr. Barbara Sturm across the Pooge Group. I've been within the affiliate industry for quite some time, mainly focused on the luxury space, but I've also worked agency side, publisher side, so I've got a full suite, but it's great to be here on a great panel.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I am Chihei. Very excited to be here with DealMoon, and thank you so much, Sean, for inviting us to Partnerize. This is a very close subject to my heart because I'm the founder of Low Digital. We are a boutique agency who specializes in building and managing affiliate programs for luxury and premium brands. So these are for brands where brand positioning matter just as equally as performance. Prior to that, I have been in luxury marketing now for 14 years, really showing my age there. I was in-house at Cult Beauty for 7.5 years. I was a performance marketing director there, and prior to that, I was in Net-a-Porter on the search marketing team.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sophia. I'm the Affiliates and Partnerships Lead at Harvey Nichols. I have been brand side now for 4.5 years, but prior to this, I've worked at 2 different networks, and I've also worked agency side, so also been in the space for a while, but I won't say exactly how long.
Thank you. Now, if I said affiliate marketing in a boardroom 10, 15 years ago, I think I'd have politely been shown the door. So what is it that has changed in recent years that's made partnerships a more strategic part of the marketing mix? I'd love to hear each of your different perspectives on this, starting with you, Sophia.
Thank you, Sapna. I think the channel as a whole has changed a lot, dramatically since when I first joined the industry. I remember the first few programs that I worked on network side, they were really bottom of the funnel heavy. They were oversaturated with cashback and voucher partners, and typically that isn't great for brand positioning within luxury. There's definitely a place for bottom of the funnel partners, but a luxury brand typically wants to work with more upper funnel partners. And I think the channel has successfully evolved to make that possible. You know, we've got technology partners such as Linkbee that now allow us to produce content at scale, which is the first time it's ever been this easy for us. Also, we've got, agencies such as like LCK, ShopMy. You can work with influencers at scale, a really easy way through the affiliate channels. And I think we've just got really diverse affiliate programs, which makes it really easy for a luxury brand to position themselves exactly how they want to be positioned within the space. So I think it's the channel, it's evolved a lot. And you can, if you want to work with cashback partners, you can. But also if you want to have a program that's more upper funnel heavy, it's also possible. Chihei, I think a lot of your brands work in that way.
Yeah. Exactly. I would agree. So I've got 2 kind of thoughts of where I see the reason why so many of these brands, luxury brands specifically, are moving into the affiliate space, where previously before they wouldn't even look at it. There's this association that it's low quality, lower funnel. However, I think one of the big reasons why there is this shift, it's because of the convergence of PR and affiliates. I call this space now CPA to play. So I'm going to take you back like 5, 10, no, probably not 5, 10 years ago. Print press was a lot more popular. We are kind of seeing, the decline of print press. If you imagine an issue of September fashion issue of Vogue for a full page spread for advertising, it's going to cost you up to the millions. And as the subscription and circulation numbers decline, that determines the price of what you charge for advertising. This is a huge revenue stream that has been completely removed from the publishing world. So now editors and commerce writers have commission targets to hit on a monthly basis. So for this reason, it's becoming CPA to play. So I'd say that's a really, really big reason of why these luxury brands are now, coming to agencies like us. A lot of it is from that PR angle and trying to get that. The second side of it is with my performance marketing director hat on and seeing the space and speaking to clients, a lot of the prospects that we speak to are telling us, and I know about the increasing costs of paid media. Paid media is increasingly becoming very inefficient and it's very hard to get that return. So a lot of the times I will speak to prospects, say, look, I've got all this budget, my CPCs are increasing, ROI is decreasing, paid social just isn't working. We really want to funnel this into the affiliate channel. So for me and my experience, and when I speak to prospects, those are the two main reasons that we are seeing of, brands previously who wouldn't take notice of this channel suddenly have all of this interest, which is fantastic for all of us affiliate marketers.
Thank you, Chihei. I guess what you're really seeing is that shift from affiliates being a purely transactional channel to now having so many more opportunities on the upper funnel side as well. And how about you, Holly?
I think from our side, it's a really interesting one because, especially from Pooj and Dr. Barbara Sturman's perspective, the affiliate channel is relatively new to them. It wasn't really around before 3 years ago. It's grown strength to strength over the years, but that hasn't come without having these discussions with board members as well, really having to change mindsets. And that's also gone across a lot of the Pooj brands as well. So I think Sophia made a great point in terms of how diverse programs can be, and Chihei as well. But I think in terms of what we've really seen the elevation in our programs is with the rise of technology partners utilizing more data, having more of those strategic conversations of how we can change the perspective internally. So not just focusing on your discounts, your cashbacks, how are we really elevating almost what we like to call little luxury. So really elevating the presence and also increasing optimizations to help retain customers as well. And I think it's become a channel that I love to see this growth across it, that it's not just seen a channel by itself. It works in so many different ways to work with different channels and to solve so many problems, which about, 10 years ago, it was very much seen as your lower funnel, that was that. You were never really credited for the top of the funnel work as well. So to have that recognition of a full flow is amazing.
Yeah, it's really a big focus on full funnel partners now, as we've seen as a big theme throughout today. And Chihei, how do you balance the need from an agency point of view for the need of exclusivity and storytelling, but also ensuring that your brands can measure that impactful performance?
So this is, as an agency, something that I ingrain into all of my team is understanding inherently the brand that we are working with. I want them to, we have these immersive onboarding sessions. We understand, what are bestsellers? Who is your ICP? What are the key demographics? Because not being in-house, you're almost, slightly removed, and you want to make sure that you are communicating in the way that is brand approved. And because of the type of brands we work with, brand protection is probably their key priority. So things like brand guidelines are super important to us. Do's and don'ts, having boilerplate copy, be it short form content or like long form, things that we can speak about. The ways that, a lot of our brands will say, never say cheap. Or if there's, a sale on or offer, there's words that you can't use to make sure we are completely familiar with that. Then from that balancing measurable performance standpoint, every single of our brands wants something different in terms of the performance they want to see. So it's about aligning, understanding their KPIs, and then we reverse engineer and build and manage the program based on these KPIs. So we have one client, which is quite funny. It's not ROI, it's not sales. They just say to the account management team, our objective is to get as many mentions as possible in our target titles on a CPA only basis. Doesn't matter if the program doesn't return or doesn't have, it doesn't have a positive ROI, which is a bit unheard of as a performance marketer. Whereas another will be, okay, this is the CAC number that we have to hit. So as part of that, we are looking at, okay, our strategy is who is driving the most new customers, and then we're going to optimize based on that. So no client or brand ever will have the same KPIs and objectives. And it's our role as an agency to make sure we interpret that and help them achieve those, whilst at the same time providing that really crucial layer of brand protection.
So it's really looking at KPIs beyond just ROAS now, and completely what we see on an upper funnel from your impressions, your views, your engagement, which we'll tap into later. And Sophia, how about you?
I agree with so much of what you said. And I love the approach that you take with your brands about wanting to be immersed and understand how they want to be spoken about, what they want to put across in their storytelling. We do that the same at Harvey Nichols. We often have a lot of our partners, especially editorial partners, come into store to meet us, to meet the team, to see the brands in real life, to see our space in real life, to see what we're pushing. So we find that's really, really important. We obviously have very strict brand guidelines, and we have ways that we want to be spoken about. We have even certain imagery, things that people don't realize is important, is so important in luxury. You can lose usage rights to an asset because it's a model shot, not just a product shot. So it's all those small little granular things that are even more important in the luxury space than maybe other verticals. So it's about making sure that you are communicating and transparent with your partners as often as possible, whether that be, can you invite them into a physical space so they can see the space, the brand in real life, or can you send product so that they can have a first-hand experience of how they receive the product, how it looks, even the small little things, how is the invoice placed within the packaging, how does it come wrapped? All of that will help the partner truly understand how you want your brand to be spoken about and conveyed, because within luxury, a lot of it is about storytelling, especially when you're trying to plant the seed of interest to a customer, so that you can then later on convert them, but you really need to have a full funnel approach with them. I think also when we're talking about measurement of success, being really transparent with a partner around what success looks like for you. We kind of bucket partners into different areas depending on the type of partner that they are, and we use different metrics to determine whether something has been successful or not. So not always looking at ROAS, not always looking at revenue. If it's upper funnel, how much awareness have we driven? Has that customer then gone on to sign on to our loyalty program? What level are they at of our loyalty program now? What's the lifetime value of the customers that are being pulled through? So yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, I think that's such an important point, because within luxury, the decision to make that purchase starts way before the conversion itself. So that initial content article that people are investing in, the initial influencer post that they've seen, plays a much bigger role in the consumer journey that I think brands really realize. And this is particularly relevant for DealMoon, who operates at the very intersection of both discovery and conversion. Since we were appointed as Red Note's official overseas agency partner, our content opportunities for brands have rapidly developed over the last year. We ran some incredible campaigns with both Puig and Harvey Nichols. And so, Holly, it would be great if you could unpack exactly, kind of explain what types of content experiences with Puig or behaviors you found are most effective at driving high intent engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think our partnerships that we have with the DealMoon team across the Puig brands, whether it's Dr. Barbara Sturm, Penhaligon's, or L'Artisan Parfumé, play such a pivotal role in us acquiring customers, but also, as Sophia said, the story element to luxury is critical, and it goes hand in hand, and you can't have it without it. So whether you're looking at a product launch or you're looking at an experience that is in a boutique or spa, the storytelling element is next to none, and that's actually what customers engage with the most to understand the brand before they even purchase. And I think from our side, when we've been looking at campaigns with DealMoon, we've been really looking at bringing customers and editors and creators into our experiences. So whether they're coming into store to have a scent fragrance testing, they get to see the new MPD that we have, or for the particular range, they get to learn about how perfumes or products are built from start to end. It really solidifies what we're trying to do as a brand in terms of giving that education piece. For luxury, I think it's not about the quick sell. It's about the long-term experience you have with customers and the engagement. And especially when we have Dr. Barbara Sturm as well, particularly in the UK market, we're quite small versus our US presence. We only have one boutique spa in London, which is based in Mayfair, versus, say, Penhaligon's, which has over 25 stores in the UK. Actually, I think that might be more, but don't quote me on that. But the story kind of goes behind it. What you want from a customer is really to have that unique experience that money can't buy, and having that one-to-one interaction. So I think from our side, we've really honed in on working with DealMoon to have that. But alternatively, at other times, we also need to have the lower funnel conversions as well to bring those customers to acquire. So it's about the balance and the timing of the year, really, for me. And I think, again, having that time with people to educate goes a long way in terms of customer lifetime value, which has become even more prevalent in any KPI that we look into when we're looking at brand building exercises.
It's really about having that 360 strategy, understanding customer behavior and the emotion behind the sale and what's attached to that, essentially.
Absolutely. And I think, I don't know, Sophia and Chihei, have you seen it as well? But with luxury, it typically takes about 7 times longer for a customer to convert than it does for a high street brand. So there is a lot more emphasis on the emotion, the storytelling, and the education behind it. So it all goes hand in hand.
Absolutely. And Sophia, I know particularly with DealMoon, we've also tapped into some incredible influencer and store campaigns that we're running on quite an ongoing basis. So from your perspective, how are you seeing engagement be so vital for Harvey Nichols?
Yeah, we adopt the 360 approach that you just mentioned. So we utilize everything that DealMoon has to offer pretty much. So we've got a really strong lower funnel conversion strategy, which relies on us pushing things like sale or promotional messaging, because we do need to win the sale in the end.
Course, yeah.
But then we also layer on different aspects to our campaigns as well. So for upper funnel, we have various different red note campaigns, which is where we'll work with Coles to make sure that they are gifted product, or they'll come into store to experience the store, and then post about it on their social channels. So that's a really nice way to layer in not just a bottom funnel activation, but also then have something upper funnel as well. And then we'll also then try and strengthen the post as well by offering things like gift cards for competition winners. So I think just making sure that you're taking advantage of every aspect that you can when you work with a partner. You know, if you're going to have a bottom funnel approach, can you do something top of funnel as well? We also, something just came into my mind, we had DealMoon's editor actually come into the store to try out some of the experiences that we offered, to see some of the brands in real life, and then she wrote a really beautiful article. And what we've been able to do to add a layer of validity to our content is to then make sure that we're linking to that article every time that DealMoon posts, say, an offer for us, so that people know, you know, Harvey Nichols is a genuine brand, because a lot of the customers that we acquire through DealMoon, they are new customers for us who might have not heard of Harvey Nichols before, because maybe they've just moved over to the UK for international study. So to have then that article from an editor's perspective of their experience, it just strengthens that content so much. So adopt the 360 if you can.
And like you said, it really strengthens that authenticity as well. I think that's a huge part of luxury fashion. Consumers themselves, they don't see different marketing channels. They have one solidified journey. So brand consistency needs to be seen throughout that, and how you work with your partners also needs to align with that. So on the topic of engaging customers, for luxury marketers, Holly, what would you say? I mean, success is often about quality rather than customer volume. So what kind of metrics would you say are most important for you at Puig?
I think I've already touched upon it, but obviously there's so many different metrics that you can look towards in terms of whether it's full funnel campaigns and everything. But from my perspective, it's looking beyond the revenue. I know we touched on that, but very much looking at the customer lifetime value of a customer. If it's a new customer, acquiring new takes a lot longer as well. So what does that look like from the brand's perspective if you're working into emerging markets? It's also about bringing customers, well, as I said, as part of the skincare lifetime journey, you want to bring them on with you. If you're from a younger age up to almost your mum, your grandma, there's something for every need as well. So that lifetime value and that AOV, it's not necessarily, are they purchasing every month?
that's not for us what we're looking to do. We're wanting to see, are they considered, are they buying into the lifestyle, the brand, and understanding all that we also have to offer, whether it's an experience in spa, our skin consultation. So it's going above the revenue. It's becoming an ambassador for the brand. And I think that really hones in on any lifetime like KPI that I really look at, because credibility, voice of communication and voice, what's the word? Advocacy is the word. I can't get it out. Advocacy for a brand goes next to nothing. And I think that really elevates you in the luxury space, again, because it is so competitive. You have to set yourself apart. And it's not an easy thing. It's not a quick thing. So really honing in on the long-term strategy, the lifetime value for sure.
And exactly how partners create that ongoing relevance for brands as well. And Chihei, from an agency perspective, what kind of metrics are you seeing beyond last click thriving in the industry?
Sure. So I won't say about my current clients ones, because some of them is a little bit top secret and they like to keep it. But what I can speak to is my time at Cult. And just to clarify, this is pre-THG Cult. This before the acquisition. So when I was looking over the entire performance marketing team, influencers actually sat under my division as opposed to content, which is quite strange. I know now a lot of those teams kind of straddle across both, but it was quite an unusual case. But the SLT felt that they were comfortable enough with my understanding of brand that I would make sure brand protection was at the forefront of what we did. So I don't know everyone who, how well you know Cult Beauty, but when I was there, influencer boxes were a huge part of our business model. So that sat under my team. We have a specific team for influencers and those collabs. So we worked with, amazing talent like Caroline Hirons. We did a box with her, Huda Beauty, Koshal, Jamie Genevieve, Wayne Goss. The list goes on and on and on. But how do we find who is the right influencer to work with for this? And for us, I was completely customer obsessed. Like this was ingrained into us at Cult. We want to understand the customer, serve the customer. They're our key stakeholder. So what we did was cohort testing on how these influencers worked. And we wanted to look beyond the sale of a campaign. So we did what we called cohort analysis. I worked really, really closely with the business analyst of our business, and he built a Power BI tool. So I was building these cohorts, and what I would do is, for example, take two creators. I'll give you an example, but not the real numbers or who the creators. We've got creator X, we've got creator Y. On the surface, we both ran campaigns with them. We both had the same discount code. So we looked at all the users of that discount code, but we looked at beyond that sale. So on the surface of the campaign, influencer X drove 150K. Really strong sales numbers. Okay, influencer Y only drove 80K. On the surface of it, X looks way stronger than Y. However, what we did was then look at cohort analysis at 3 months, at 6 months. What did these customers do? Did they come back? What was their frequency, recency, and AOV? Turns out X, basically none of the customers came back to shop ever again. They were so influenced by that creator, but only by that one product that they talk about. Whereas Y, we saw over 200K in sales after 6 months from them. So in that instance, for us, when we're doing these boxes, it's huge amount of resources, it's huge amounts of cost for us. We want to make sure we're doing it with the best creator who's going to be bringing that customer who comes back and isn't just a one and done. So I think cohort analysis, I'm looking and analyzing what the customer does beyond that initial sale and click is super, super important. And as marketeers, and especially performance marketeers, we can get just really stuck into, what sales did this do at this time and not look beyond that. I think it's super, super important to future-proof yourself and to put yourself in the best stead possible to do this analysis beyond those initial metrics.
Yeah, thank you. And that takes us really nicely onto the next question, especially when we talk about engagement. So influencer-led activity has grown over 50% year on year in the UK. And historically, this used to sit quite separately from affiliate partnerships, along with brand media, CRM, and retail. But as we've seen now, that brands really are incorporating what we call a 360 strategy. So they are having to talk to cross departments. Holly, how are you now integrating those partnerships within your everyday mix?
In terms of how we're working with influencers or just
Influencers, CRM, retail.
Yeah, so for us across the Dr. Barbara Sturm program, influence is a very new prospect for us. It's something that has taken a lot of discussion to get here. It's taken a lot of very frank conversations internally in terms of how do we stay relevant with the times. I think from when we're in a business that is very founder-led, there's a lot of times when people associate the brand just with the founder and obviously very high status celebrities that also endorse it. Like Barbara is very fortunate. She has got a very well-connected group of friends, I will not lie. Wish they were mine sometimes, not gonna lie. But we've really held on to that in terms of growing organically over the past 12 years. But everything has evolved, and now you can't just work with people who really do like the brand and are very much celebrity status. You have to be connecting with people who are more day-to-day, more micro communities. And I think it's very much led us to having those discussions across department with the likes of PR, brand, how we're going to work with CRM, because ultimately you've got such a breadth of content that's going to be coming your way. It's not limited to just having in one channel. It's about how can you expand those usage rights to across different channels to .com to have the benefit of refresh. We all know, and I think from your side, Sophia, you might feel the same, but influencer content has 4 times more increased engagement when you click through versus model shots or particular brand focus. So we want to be really working with that. And it's been a labor of love, to be honest, in terms of working with different departments, changing perspectives, breaking down fears of it, that it's not going to be going out of control. But obviously anything can be done in a controlled manner. And I think the exciting thing is we're just seeing the real fruits of the labor come to fruition and really see that growth across the different markets. And I've loved working with the different departments to change the perspective of the affiliate channel, that it's not just doing what they initially thought when I joined, which was, they joke about it. They're like, we thought you were going to come in and just give 100% off. And I was like, that would be a disservice to my job if I did that. But really changing them to think that it's a lot more sophisticated. And they're on that journey now too. So it takes time, but just don't give up. That's the main thing, I think.
Absolutely. And I mean, the most successful affiliate programs are not being managed by channels in silo. They are really working with CRM, retail, influencers, and the rest. So, Chihei, from an agency perspective, how do you manage that?
So we have these conversations all the time. Because of my background, I'm not pure affiliate. I specialize across all performance channels, and I understand, and if we look at own behavior, really, how often are you interacting with one channel and only then converting right away? It's very, very seldom. Sometimes it's subconscious. You're, engaging with newsletters sometimes, and then you're going on search, your organic search for them. If you see something on social and you don't like the in-app experience, the in-app browsing experience, then you go to search. It's captured across PPC. So I always ask when I speak to new clients and prospects, okay, tell me what you're doing across your other channels as well, and how we can support you across that. Are you doing CRM? Everyone will have a CRM flow in place. If we're driving to a certain landing page, sometimes some of our clients can create bespoke landing pages. Then they can create a bespoke sign-up box where all of these will create, all of the email database will be created in its own separate segment, so we can speak to them in a particular. I say we, I mean the client, but we are so ingrained as part of the client's team. We almost say we all the time. So there's different, understanding what they're doing and how we can add additional value. So I really truly see the affiliate channel as one that can drive so much. We are not just there to capture demand that is created through all the other channels. We have the potential, and this is what we do for our brands, to actually create and generate that demand as well. So things like understanding what's your paid social retargeting strategy, what pages are you targeting? And just working with the clients really, really closely to help them get the objectives and KPIs that they want to achieve, not just on the affiliate channel, but for the overall, marketing department as well.
And it's really just about integrating in that entire ecosystem rather than being so tunnel vision just on affiliates. And I guess what we're really seeing today is that context matters as much as conversion. So Sophia, what makes the content or publisher environment feels luxury appropriate for Harvey Nichols? And how do you protect brand equity while still scaling performance?
My first question is always, are you working with any of our direct competitors, and can I see what those pages look like? Because instantly then that gives you an idea of how you would be positioned. I always lean on the network for insights, whether that be from a benchmarking report, a gap analysis report, to understand actually, is there a missed opportunity for market share here that we're not capitalizing on? But then also, I always jump on calls with partners before we go live, because I just really want to understand. I go back to this point about you being an advocate for your brand and really explaining how you want your brand to be perceived. I think you just need to make sure that when you're telling them, you know, these are the do's, these are the don'ts, these are the expectations as well. Like, imagery does need to be updated every 3 months because we lose usage rights. And if you can't accommodate that, then unfortunately we cannot partner together. And it's those sorts of like small intricacies then that you just need to make sure that they are super aligned with that. Because that's really important, because you can get in a lot of trouble. You can, and it's sometimes not worth it. And I think as well, you meet as many partners as you can, whether it be face-to-face, teams, whether it be events like this. I think it's so important, and get as many partners as you can on board with either coming into store, receiving your products, experiencing the experience firsthand, because then they can better storytell on your behalf for it. I think they're the main bits without me repeating myself too much.
No, I mean, you're completely right. Building a luxury appropriate environment doesn't happen overnight. It is a long-term investment, and I think, you know, brands are starting to look way beyond just a quick win now. They're looking at, you know, the quarterly or the annual packages rather than just one for a day or a week, especially with luxury. And Chihei, from an agency point of view, how are you vetting for that with your luxury appropriate publishers?
It wouldn't be a panel with me if I didn't mention the F word, and it's not the one that you think it is. Fraud. I will always say, it's so cheeky, it's my brand, unfortunately. Unfortunately, in this space, as there's more money and more budget coming in, and a lot of brands that don't know what they're doing, there's always going to be bad actors who try to take advantage of this. And this doesn't only apply into the world of affiliates. Any performance marketing channel, you know, you've got PPC, click fraud, black hat SEO back in the day. It's something that's going to happen. And we've seen a huge increase on this. So vetting is so important. Never take anything by face value. The amount of, my team is going through, you know, approvals all the time of all of these different partners, like whack-a-mole. All of them, it's like, it's not a creator. You're not a creator network. Be wary of the creator networks out there. Be very, very wary, because most of them are fraudulent, unfortunately, at the moment. They're utilizing sub-networks to hide transparency. And this is a lot of the times where they're driving fraudulent clicks and stealing last clicks away from your program. So a really, really big thing for us and our team, you have to kind of train your eye. And once you find the signs, you'll spot it quite easily. But it does take time to find. Vetting, I would say, is one of the key things that we do before working with any partner type, like sleuthing, essentially, almost getting to that.
We always ask for transparency reports, always. And if a partner won't share that with you, it's a huge red flag. And I would also say be wary of overnight success.
Yes,
100%.
If somebody jumps up massively and you haven't invested or you haven't seen the content, I instantly think it's wrong.
There's some fishy activity going on if it's like that, and you're like, suddenly what's happened? How has it done this overnight? I think from our side as well, don't know if you see it, but ad hijacking, that's one of the biggest red flags that I see in terms of jumping on the bandwagon, wanting to take someone else's success as well, away from being true and having a true partnership as well. And I'm just like, no, that's not happening.
Amazing answers. I guess luxury partnership does require a completely different lens. Success isn't, like you said, measured or achieved overnight with luxury. And the one thing that's becoming very clear throughout today's discussion is that brands that are succeeding are adapting very quickly today. They're embracing new channels and rethinking traditional approaches. So looking into the future, just to wrap up, I would love to hear from each of you one piece of advice that you'd give to the audience on what brands should be doing today to stay ahead, starting with you, Sophia.
Ooh. Invest in longer term partnerships. I think especially when you're trying to create success with upper funnel activity, it won't happen overnight. A lot of our big content partners will ask for a minimum 6-month commitment because it is hard to sell considered purchases, and you need to make sure that you're constantly in front of the audience so it doesn't feel like a one-off flash in the pan moment, which it won't give you success. So I think, just make sure that you're looking at a longer term partnership. Some of our best content partners didn't see success until our second, third package, and now they're doing amazing.
Yeah.
It took a while.
How about you, Chihei?
I would say really analyze the funnel and who you are working with. Obviously, every brand is very different. Lower funnel is important for some, but I would just especially say check your lower funnel activity, because what can happen a lot of the times, it jeopardizes the success of upper funnel. So what it can do is, when you work with more lower funnel partners, upper funnel partners are more impacted because those clicks get taken from the lower funnel ones. So it can actually be detrimental to your program. Obviously, not many people have the luxury of being able to not work with lower funnel partners completely, but just check what that is looking like and the contribution of it as part of your affiliate program.
And yourself, Holly?
I think they're both so key, but from what Sophia and Chihei has said, I think as well, one piece that is probably my biggest one is don't be afraid to have the hard conversations. They're going to be difficult at times, and you're going to have to justify why you're spending a certain amount in the upper funnel. And as Sophia said, it doesn't always work. But having those frank, honest conversations internally and externally with your partners goes a long way. And again, time as well. I think being patient with trial and error is one thing that goes, it's been paramount to kind of a growth as well for that side within your affiliate program.
Amazing. I think as we wrap up, there's been some really thought-provoking answers and interesting themes that we can take from today. Firstly, affiliates should definitely no longer be treated in silo. We really need to be working cross-department. Secondly, luxury brands need to look way beyond the last click now. We need to be looking at impressions, engagement, views, etc. And lastly, look and invest in those long-term partnerships. We don't want quick wins. We want long-term partnerships that don't just happen overnight. Ultimately, the brands that are succeeding are the ones that are connecting their channels. So, a huge thank you to our panelists. It's been a really thought-provoking and incredible panel to have you on.